This video is a step-by-step demonstration of how to replace the conveyor belt in a Midland Road Widener. Common safety practices should always be followed to ensure no injuries to personnel occur during the dismantling and replacement of the conveyor belt. Before you begin, position the road widener in a clear, unconfined location. If performing this procedure in a shop, a floor crane or overhead crane can be useful. Prior to shutting down the diesel engine, position the conveyor belt lace or hinge for easy access at the end of the conveyor at the 9 or 3 o'clock position. Shut down the diesel engine. Remove the keys and put them in your pocket to ensure no one mistakenly starts the engine during the repair. Set the parking brake and block the wheels as well to prevent the machine from moving. Now we're ready to begin. First, remove the outer conveyor bib end rubbers. Next, relieve the conveyor belt tension by backing off the take-up bearing adjustment screws. Counting turns of the take-up screw on each side will keep the drive roller square to the hopper ends. Once the belt tension is relieved, drop the conveyor end scrapers away from the belt. Then remove all of the upper steel sections of the feed hopper, including the right-hand and left-hand hopper ends and gates, to expose the conveyor belt. Note, if you're working alone and without a crane, it will be necessary to reduce the steel sections to smaller, more easily handled pieces. Otherwise, it's best to keep the end brackets and adjustable end gate with screw crank assembled in order to expedite reassembly. Remove the hopper bib rubber and the bumper vertically bolted to the hopper front. At this point, it's best to separate the rubber from the bumper for easier reassembly. Now, with the sideboard clamps exposed, unbolt the upper sideboard rubber clamps, both front and rear. They are the long pieces that run the full length of the conveyor. Remove the lower sideboard rubbers bolted to the front and rear sides of the conveyor slots in the hopper. Remove the old, worn, or torn conveyor belt. First, the master link on both conveyor drive chains will need to be removed. The master link and holding pins are small, so take care to put them in a place where they can be found easily for reassembly. Next, remove the conveyor lace hinge pin. Once the drive chain is split and open, and the conveyor hinge pin is removed, the hinge halves can be separated. The old worn or torn conveyor belt can be removed along with the drive chains. If the drive chains are to be used on the new conveyor, remove the elevator bolts and remove the drive chains from the old worn or torn conveyor belt. Before transferring or bolting the chain to the new conveyor belt, make sure the used chain's pins are not cracked or worn, and the links are in good condition. Excess side-to-side movement of the chain links could indicate excessive wear. If this is the case, the used chain should not be reused, and replacement chains should be installed. Repair pieces for the conveyor drive chain can be purchased from your Midland parts supplier. Chains removed from the conveyor belt can be bolted to the new belt with the properly punched holes and spacing to accommodate the drive chains. When attaching the chains to the conveyor, apply Loctite to each elevator bolt nut to meet factory specifications. Install the chains on the belt so that the 3/16-inch thick heavy rubber cover faces out when the conveyor is installed on the machine. Properly punched conveyor belts with installed lacing are available from your Midland distributor. Before installing the new conveyor belt, check to see if the chain guides are in need of repair. Next, check for any damaged or non-functioning support rollers and replace as needed. Free-moving rollers will keep the belt from getting stuck, jammed, or in some other way malfunctioning in the future. Also, inspect the drive sprockets and rollers. The new conveyor belt with chains attached should be inserted into the lower chain guides and pushed in as far as possible. Once started, a bar inserted into the debris exit holes provided in the upper chain rail can be used to move the conveyor belt across the full width of the hopper in the lower chain guides. With the conveyor belt now fully placed across the bottom chain guide, the top of the conveyor belt can be laid into position on the upper chain rails. Ensure all tools are removed and no debris or obstructions are under the new conveyor belt. The ends of the conveyor must be brought together at the hinge. With the master link pins and the drive chains removed and the chain open, insert the orange seals provided. The seals keep debris from gaining access to the hinge and wearing it prematurely. Next, insert the belt hinge pin. Then install the master link pins as shown, ensuring the drive roller sprockets engage the conveyor belt chain in the proper link on each side of the belt. A twisted or misaligned conveyor belt will malfunction. Also, ensure the take-up bearing at each end of the belt is the same distance from the hopper frame ends, and the conveyor belt has a slight droop, allowing the chain to touch the chain rails on the underside of the conveyor, approximately 36 inches from each end. Note, banjo tight is not desirable as it wears the sprockets and drive chains unnecessarily. Once all the bearings have been properly adjusted, tighten the lock nuts on all 4 bearings. Run the conveyor to ensure it moves to the left and to the right as required. Now is the time to check this function, not after all the reassembly has taken place. Reassemble the conveyor protection parts in reverse order of their removal. Also at this time, install all 4 new sideboard rubber seals, as these prevent debris from entering the conveyor mechanism and improves conveyor life. Ensure these seals just touch the top of the conveyor belt, as paving material on the conveyor pushes each seal down into position, providing the final seal so material does not invade the mechanical areas of the conveyor. Remember, for easy reassembly, install the hopper front bumper prior to attaching the hopper bib rubber. If the bib rubber is worn badly, it should be replaced. Complete the reassembly of the hopper with the remaining parts. Periodic inspection and replacement of the conveyor belt hinge can save time and money, as excessive wear will allow the steel hinge to become thin at the center and break, usually causing catastrophic failure of the entire conveyor belt. Preventive maintenance in the belt hinge area can extend the life of the entire conveyor belt system. Following the steps outlined in this video will increase conveyor life and help to ensure your Midland Road Widener is ready when needed. For more information on all the Midland Road Wideners, go to www.roadwidener.com.